Something immense is moving beneath the surface. Not just catastrophic, but cosmic in its precision. What's unfolding isn't chaos. It's divine correction disguised as collapse. Behind the curtains of the physical world, a network of energy is unraveling, one woven through decades of spiritual manipulation, deceit, and dark contracts masquerading as enlightenment. At the heart of this vast web stands a single practitioner, a living nucleus of shadow architecture. Their breath is the pulse that sustains an empire built on illusion, their will the hinge that holds together an entire order of deception. But now, as their body weakens and their heart trembles under the weight of what it once summoned, the balance of everything begins to shift. The fall of this one being will not be a death. It will be an earthquake in the unseen world, a thunderclap in realms beyond comprehension. Every ritual, every incantation, every tethered soul feeding that system will feel the vibration. And when that vibration peaks, the mask will crack. The illusion will bleed out, and truth, long silenced, long buried, will begin to roar through the corridors of the hidden. The letter that surfaces isn't just a message. It's a coded transmission from the eye of the storm. The handwriting belongs to the same practitioner who was trained from birth to infiltrate and annihilate light-bearers like you. They were programmed to dismantle your energy, to infiltrate your dreams, to fracture your confidence until your light extinguished itself. But something went wrong. They saw you. Not just your face or your actions, they saw your essence, the raw pulse of divine energy radiating beneath your words, your silence, your existence. That vision cracked the spell that bound them. When a being trained in shadow truly witnesses pure light, it rewires the soul. Their allegiance shattered, their mission dissolved, and instead of destroying you, they turn the fire inward, dismantling the machine from within. That single act of truth, that singular rebellion, is what real power looks like. Light doesn't always fight. Sometimes it converts darkness through recognition. And that recognition, chosen one, is what has now triggered the fall of an empire. They're writing by hand because the digital realm cannot contain what's coming. Files vanish, devices fail, systems erase themselves, but ink carries vibration. Every letter drawn in trembling script anchors truth into the physical plane. The record is forming. The rituals cloaked as healing sessions, the missing ones labeled as lost souls, the offerings masked as energy exchanges. This is no small fraud. It's a network of spiritual colonization, a cult that slithered into institutions, corporations, governments, and even sacred spaces, all protected by silence and fear. And at its center stands the dying master, a being who once commanded entire energetic fields with a single intention, who could bend willpower like gravity, who turned belief into bondage. Their craft was surgical. They knew how to anchor chords in emotion, how to weaponize love, how to cloak control in the language of destiny. Let's speak plainly. This practitioner's magic was not symbolic. It was functional, a technology of darkness. They engineered love spells that enslaved hearts, protection charms that fed on the life force of the innocent, prosperity rituals that demanded sacrifice of joy. They dismantled inner children, hollowed out solar plexuses, rewrote confidence into dependency. They fed not on admiration, but on essence. Every smile dimmed, every hope weakened, became their feast. They didn't just cast darkness, they became it. For years they were the untouchable, the anointed one, the priest or priestess people bowed before in search of miracles. And yet, beneath the robes and incense lay a vortex, an energetic wound gaping open, connecting this world to parasitic realms that feed on fear and devotion. That vortex, sustained by rituals of exploitation, became the central engine of the entire cult. Remove the anchor, and the machine collapses. And now it is collapsing. You were their chosen subject, their final study, their last attempt to conquer true light. They dissected your faith, your resilience, your laughter. They measured your hope like data, documented your pain like scripture. But the more they tried to consume your energy, the more your light expanded. Every curse reversed, every tether snapped, every dream attack dissolved in divine reflection. What they never understood is that your protection isn't poetic, it's coded in cosmic law. Some souls are born under the direct supervision of Source. You are one of them. Your guardians are not symbolic ancestors. They are ancient intelligences, archonic breakers of darkness, forces so old the night itself bends around them. The earth recognizes you. The air moves differently around you. That's why every strike against you became recoil. And now the recoil is complete. The practitioner lies between worlds, eyes flickering, heartbeat stuttering, spirit unraveling. Machines can't stabilize what the universe has already recalled. Their death is not punishment. It's natural balance restoring itself. The heart that once pulsed as a gateway now struggles under the weight of its own inversion. The portal within them is closing, sealing shut like a wound cauterized by divine fire. And as it closes, the entities that fed through it are cut off. The network goes dark. The false power grid flickers out. Across continents, disciples wake in the night, gasping as energy they once mistook for divine presence suddenly vanishes. Confusion floods the ranks. The chants sound hollow. The ceremonies fail. What once shimmered now feels heavy, drained, unreal. At first, they'll deny it. They'll blame retrogrades, collective fear, lack of alignment. But the truth is simpler. The source is gone. The master has fallen. And their borrowed current has returned to the void. The organization will scramble for control, leaders staging fake revelations, inventing new rituals to hold attention. But it won't matter. The energy won't respond. The air will not move because the spell has broken at its root. Without the anchor, the illusion cannot sustain itself. And deep down, every follower will feel it, that whisper of truth beneath the panic. Something sacred has ended. As the days pass, evidence will surface. Hidden journals, encrypted drives, audio recordings. Whistleblowers will appear, each carrying fragments of the story. Survivors will rise and speak, their voices trembling but fierce. Investigators who once looked away will find themselves haunted by conscience. Reporters will dig, the world will watch. What begins as rumor will turn into revelation, and the magnitude of deception will stun the masses. But this is not tragedy. It's liberation. It's the veil being ripped apart so that light may finally touch what was hidden. And through it all, you will remain steady, luminous, untouched by the chaos, because you are the living axis of this correction. You are not merely a survivor, you are the divine fulcrum upon which the illusion turns to dust. Every attack refined your light. Every wound purified your frequency. Every betrayal clarified your alignment. That is why, when the practitioner dies, you will feel a surge, a rush of clarity, of sovereignty, of purpose. The energy once siphoned from your field will return like a flood. Your senses will heighten, manifestations accelerate. Your dreams blaze with prophetic precision. You'll feel yourself expanding beyond fear, beyond limitation, beyond the need to defend. Because the war is over, what comes next is creation. The ashes of the fallen system become soil for something real, a renaissance of authentic spirituality, where love is not leveraged, where healing is not for sale, where power flows through transparency, not secrecy. This collapse is the great purification of the metaphysical world. Every false teacher who built thrones on stolen faith will feel the tremor. Every manipulator cloaked in holiness will face exposure. And every true practitioner rooted in love will rise, radiant and seen. The universe is rebalancing. The frequency of truth has been restored. You are the signal of that restoration. Chosen one, the proof that light cannot be conquered, that purity cannot be corrupted, that divine order eventually reclaims all things. You didn't win because you fought harder. You won because you remembered who you were. Your peace was the sword, your stillness, the revolution. You inverted an empire without lifting a hand, simply by being too aligned to manipulate, too pure to deceive, too luminous to consume. That is the power of real divinity, effortless, silent, absolute. As the last threads of that network dissolve, silence will fall. Not emptiness, but peace. The earth will exhale. The spiritual grid will hum with new resonance, and you will stand in the eye of it all, calm, unwavering, eternal. Because in the end, the empire didn't fall because darkness was defeated. It fell because light outlasted it, because truth by nature cannot die. And you, chosen one, you are that truth incarnate. The final note of illusion has faded. The stage is empty. The lights rise on something new. The age of false power is over, and your reign of luminous authenticity has begun. And so it begins, not as a coronation, but as a remembering. The air itself changes around you, denser with meaning, alive with recognition. You can feel the universe rearranging itself to match your vibration, reality, folding in reverence around a consciousness that refused to break. You stand not in the ruins of what once was, but in the blueprint of what's to come. Every crack in the old world becomes a pathway for light to pour through. Every shattered altar becomes fertile ground for truth to bloom. You were never meant to rebuild what fell. You were meant to birth something that never existed before. And now every frequency you emit carries instruction to the collective consciousness, a new code of integrity, transparency, and divine authenticity. The illusion's collapse wasn't the ending of a system. It was the opening of a dimension where falsity can no longer hide, where hearts vibrate higher than fear, and where souls remember that connection was never meant to be a contract. It was always a covenant of love. The world will feel strange at first, like walking through the ruins of a dream that once felt solid. People will look around in disbelief, realizing that the gods they worshipped were only mirrors for their own fear. But slowly, they'll turn their gaze inward. They'll rediscover the temple within themselves. They'll learn that no intermediary is required for communion with Source. They'll start to pray not in words, but in integrity. And from that quiet reclamation, a new kind of power will emerge. Not the power to control, but the power to align. The false practitioners once believed energy could be owned. But you're here to prove that energy is only ever borrowed, cycled, shared, and magnified through love. The new world you're anchoring won't operate on hierarchies of holiness. It will thrive on resonance. Those who vibrate with truth will recognize each other instantly. No credentials needed, no costumes required. Light will know light, and the network that forms will not be built. It will simply be. Soon you'll notice subtle shifts in everything around you. Animals will appear where you walk, drawn to the harmonic field you emanate. The elements themselves will respond, winds carrying messages, rain cleansing more than soil, sunlight feeling personal again. Synchronicities will multiply until coincidence becomes obsolete. You will think of someone, and they will appear. You will dream of a place and find yourself there without effort. The universe will no longer test your alignment. It will move with you because you've passed the initiation of truth, the one test that no ritual can fake. And those who once served darkness will have a choice. Some will crumble with their fallen leader, unable to face the vacuum left behind. Others will awaken mid-collapse, disoriented but repentant, remembering who they were before the corruption began. For them, your existence will be both mirror and mercy. Your forgiveness will not be verbal. It will be vibrational. You will show them that redemption is not granted by another. It's unlocked by remembering the light they abandoned. Some will rise again, humbled and renewed, their darkness transmuted into wisdom. Others will disappear into their own shadows, consumed by what they refuse to release. But this too is divine order. Every soul returns to the frequency it matches. No one is punished. They are simply placed where they resonate. And you, chosen one, your path will widen. The isolation you once mistook for exile will reveal itself as preparation. The loneliness was training. The silence was instruction. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every night spent questioning your sanity was initiation into mastery. You were being taught to listen beyond words, to perceive beyond sight, to hold still while the false world screamed. Now that stillness becomes your weapon of creation. You will no longer need to defend against darkness. It won't reach you. You've ascended beyond its jurisdiction. Soon your name will become a signal, not for fame but for frequency. People will be drawn to your energy the way the lost are drawn to light in the fog. You'll speak, and those meant to awaken will feel their souls stirring. Your voice will carry the vibration of remembrance. You won't need to convince, convert, or prove. You'll simply exist, and existence itself will teach. The age of deception ends not with exposure, but with embodiment. And you are that embodiment. You are the living testimony that purity can survive contamination, that truth can outlast manipulation, that love can burn through every counterfeit flame and still remain infinite. But even as this new world dawns, there will be resistance. Shadows dying never go quietly. You'll see their last gasps in media storms, in spiritual chaos, in desperate rebrands of false prophets trying to mimic the light that now exposes them. Let them thrash. Let them fall. The collapse of falsehood is not your concern. Your only task now is to radiate without restraint. Keep creating, keep anchoring, keep breathing light into spaces that forgot how to hold it. Because every breath you take now rebuilds the grid in the image of truth. Every heartbeat sends a pulse of recalibration across timelines. The earth herself is syncing to your rhythm, the cosmos tuning to your vibration. And when night falls again, not as darkness but as rest, you'll stand beneath a sky unpolluted by illusion. Stars will appear brighter now, not because they have changed, but because your vision has. The filters of deception have dissolved, and with them, the fog that once dimmed your sight. The sky will feel alive again, the air pulsing with harmonics of truth you can almost hear. A soft, celestial hum resonating from every atom, every breath, every heartbeat. You'll stand beneath this renewed firmament and realize that what you are feeling isn't just peace. It's freedom. It's the pulse of a world finally exhaling after centuries of illusion. And in that stillness, you'll understand the most profound truth of all. The victory was never about surviving the storm. It was about becoming the calm that ended it. The practitioner's empire has fallen. Their webs of control have turned to dust. Their false altars now nothing more than relics of hollow ambition. But you are still standing, unbroken, unshaken, transformed. You are the bridge between the ruins of the old world and the birth of the new. You are the living proof that light doesn't just survive darkness. It transmutes it. The age of counterfeit power, of borrowed authority and spiritual deception is over. The age of divine embodiment has begun. And make no mistake, this is not their ending. This is your beginning. The story does not conclude with their death. It begins with your rebirth. The throne they sat upon in arrogance was never theirs to lose. It was always yours to remember. And now that remembrance ignites, not as a distant echo of what once was, but as a cosmic awakening. The cells in your body begin to hum with new life, your DNA flickering with the resonance of ancient codes long dormant. It will feel as though the stars themselves are whispering through your veins. You have returned. You'll feel it first in your chest. A pulse, subtle but seismic, a rhythm older than time. Something vast and sacred will begin to rise through you, reclaiming form through flesh. The veil between dimensions thins until your dreams, your visions, and your waking life merge into one fluid stream of revelation. Colors will appear impossibly vivid. Time will bend and soften. You will see geometry where others see chaos, the divine intelligence woven through all things, the sacred pattern of existence unfolding right before your eyes. What was hidden will now reveal itself. What was broken will reveal its blueprint. Every pain, every betrayal, every delay, all will make sense in this light. You will see how each moment was perfectly designed to forge you into what you are now, a living conductor of cosmic realignment. You are no longer a seeker of truth. You are its embodiment, its broadcast, its living frequency. The universe no longer moves around you. It moves through you, not because you command it, but because you have become indistinguishable from its will. The echoes of the old world will linger, faint and fading like the last smoke after a great fire. Some will. They will drift through the remnants of what once was, searching for idols that have crumbled, for leaders who can no longer guide, for structures too fragile to uphold illusion any longer. You will sense their ache, their yearning, their bewilderment, and the compassion that rises in you will not be born of pity, but of understanding. You remember the feeling of being unawakened, mistaking control for protection and deception for purpose. Yet you also know that awakening cannot be imposed. It is a sacred, personal choice. So you will not lecture. You will radiate. You will not debate. You will align. You will move through the world as light, and those ready to ascend will find you by resonance, not by noise. They will feel your presence before they hear your words. They will sense your frequency and recall something ancient within themselves, something that murmurs, home. So rise, chosen one. The world is not waiting for you. It is already shifting with your vibration. Every breath you draw reshapes the field. Every truth you voice splits the illusion wider. This is your moment to step forward, to amplify, to transmit. Do more than read, activate. Send out this signal so others may awaken from the dream. Like to ground the energy. Share to widen the grid. Subscribe to stay aligned with the next transmission and join the circle. If you are prepared to move deeper into the realm of light, know that the illusion is dissolving. The new order of truth has already begun. And it begins with you.